Welcome to the Dollhouse.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you can begin.
Go ahead.
All right, y'all. So just want to take some time to see how y'all are doing. Let's do a little quick mental health check-in. I can start and I'll say that I've been doing pretty okay. This week has definitely kicked my a little bit. But it's okay. We're taking it one day at a time. Things are going well. One high that I will say is that I am going to the movies tonight, and I am very excited to see Blink Twice. I've heard some good things about it. So that's just one high that I have. I want to hear about y'all though. Like, what are some highs and maybe not lows, but highs and lows that y'all have been having? How are y'all doing mentally?
How, Harold?
Oh, sorry. I've been doing good actually. I haven't had any crazy blockage, any lows that are interfering. I did got the this notebook. Remember the I don't know if you remember the notebook I got with the Super Mario Brothers?
Yes, I remember the Super Mario Brothers notebook that we found at Target.
The Super Mario, and I told you it's for creative ideas. So I did write some creative ideas of the game store, because again, I dream of having a game store, and I kind of want it to happen, but I feel like in order for this to happen, I have to have other life events to occur for this to happen.
Can I take a second? Are you hearing the skip that I'm hearing? The cutout?
Yeah, sometimes you're cutting out when you're talking.
But it's it's constant.
Oh.
Somewhat.
I mean, I haven't been hearing it constantly. I did hear it in the beginning, not so much recently. It's going into the store.
Lagging, but I was hearing it a lot. The whole last sentence before I interrupted him, it was mostly cut out for me. Well, not mostly, but every other word was cut out. So unfortunately, I think you should redo that.
Is it better?
Yeah, it sounds better.
It's better? Hold on.
Yes.
Is it better? Okay. I'll continue. I guess where I left off. In order for me to do this, to this big thing, because I know it's an investment, and in order for me to do this, I feel like other things would have to occur beforehand in order for this to come. I'm seeing my mic go out too, so I see it going out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it is. Besides this whole mic issue, but let me start. King, how you feeling?
So honestly, I have not been feeling the best lately, but that's okay. I've been using music to soothe me a lot. That's kind of just what I always do. I feel like music is very therapeutic for me, and so I often just, I don't know, I just listen to music, and I don't cry or anything, but sometimes I just sit there and I think about other things my life, and it's almost like a music video. Have you guys ever done that?
I feel like music gives you so much perspective. Everybody has such, when I listen to music, I'm just everybody has, my thoughts aren't that unique because somebody's literally singing a smash hit about it, or literally. It's I haven't thought or felt that emotion before. And it's just there's so many different perspectives in music, and I think that's why I feel a lot of solace in it. But yeah, I feel that I love music, and I think that it's a really good stress reliever. I'm glad that you're finding that in music, friend.
Yeah. Is there any music you guys have listened to? Chloe released an album, her second album.
Yes, she did. What are y'all's thoughts?
Which song did I say was my favorite? I can't remember what my number one favorite was off the top of my head. I gotta look it up. It was Chloe's Closet.
Chloe's Closet?
That's what popped up when I looked up Chloe.
You better go in Chloe's Closet? That's crazy. I literally about to type in Chloe's Closet.
I like the song with Chloe and Halle, the Want Me. It's called Want Me.
I love that one. I loved it. It sounds so good.
Especially because I really love Golden Hour, which is Chloe and Halle's album that they had together, their most recent one. that album was very transformational for me. So to like hear them sing again on the track, it was just like, oh, like I miss y'all together.
I liked
Singing
it the
music.
most, and I said
They
this
are
at the
good.
time. I liked it the most because of the fact that it didn't necessarily sound like Chloe and Holly. It sounded more like Chloe featuring Holly. Like it sounded like their individual like artistry
Hmm.
combined rather than it being them as a duo,
Hmm.
which I really liked. And I feel like that was like a cool way that they did that. There was a song. Which one was it? It was the one with um Ty. Does she have a song with Ty Dolla Sign?
Yes. Yes.
Where is it? Oh, Might As Well. That
Yeah.
was the one for me. That one ate for me. That was
That
my
was a good
favorite.
one too.
That one stood out to me for me.
I love FYS, which is status. That one was good. I mean, it was a single before it became part of the album. Um, that was really good. I like it. I also like Strawberry Lemonade.
Strawberry Lemonade was really good too. I
Strawberry
enjoyed
Lemonade.
that.
Um,
Can I read y'all? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no, no. You're right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I read y'all the Apple? Because Apple Music, like every bigger albums that they were like artists release, they'll like put a little paragraph blurb in it, um, describing the album. I don't know if y'all have heard it, but I would love to read it here on the podcast and feel y'all's opinions.
Oh, okay.
Um,
What Apple Music say? Tell us.
Chloe Bailey's 2023 debut album, In Pieces, delved into the difficulties of relationships, exploring the delicate balance between her emotional, sexual, and romantic desires, and the heartache that follows. However, her sophomore effort, Trouble in Paradise, embraces a more carefree persona, offering glimpses into her romantic journey, whether she's falling in love or navigating the uncertainties that come with that. Just like just like on In Pieces, Chloe is liberated and entirely in control. Whether she's disillusioned about her relationship and contemplating forgiveness, such as in Redemption, candid about the freedom found within fleeting singlehood, such as in Temporary Single, or leaning into her sexuality while offering up on brand zingers, such as Rose or Nice Girls Finish Last. The album levels up sonically from its predecessor, as the studio's St. Lucia locale provided inspiration and collaborators like Anderson Paak, Jeremiah, YG Marley, and Sister Halle Bailey add their touch. Chloe delivers melodic verses over a multitude of genres across the album's 16 tracks, from pop such as Boy Bye and Strawberry Lemonade to Afro beats such as Never Let You Go and moody R&B such as FYS and Same Lingerie. Thoughts?
Did they really say Rose instead of Rose?
No, they said Rose probably. I don't know why I said
Oh.
Rose.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
My
I
bad.
double checked to see if they had the accent. You know what you're talking about? Because doesn't Rose have the
Yeah.
accent mark? Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
My bad.
I was like,
Oh,
ooh,
this guy had
okay.
alcohol in the brain. My bad.
Love,
okay.
love on the brain.
Must be Rose on the brain. Yeah.
Who sings that song?
Um,
Cow Hero.
Cow Hero.
um,
Who sings that song? Cow Hero.
Rihanna. We love Rihanna.
Oh, okay.
I wish she'd
I'm
come out
surprised you knew.
with one more album. Just please the fans. And
I don't think she
Didn't she
needs
say that she's
to.
her whole entire album that she had originally and she's starting fresh?
I think she did do something. where
Let's
she,
talk
like,
about
mentioned-
that. Because I think that honestly speaking, if we're gonna look at like the gap of time between Auntie and like any music that Rihanna has released, like I think it's fair that that she kind of scraps what maybe has been compiled over the course of these years and starts fresh. I just feel like so many things has changed in Rihanna's life in the course of like 4 years, to just give a sample, that like maybe she'll go in there with like a reinvigorated perspective or attitude towards this new album. But
Yeah.
I do want to hear the songs that she made, because it's just like, I don't know, like maybe when you were making those songs like in the past, like you were more in touch with your older sounds, and you're gonna give us an album that is gonna be a completely new sound. That, don't get me wrong, like I would be forever grateful for that as like a fan of Rihanna's music, but it makes me want to hear that older music too, because it's just like I want to scratch that itch too, especially if she's gonna give us like a transformational piece of work.
that's, you know what? I feel that
I'm
happens
conflicted on
with
that.
like other artists. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just conflicted. So for me, it's kind of like you know, I always go back to that saying of like, was it? It's like die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. Where I feel like sometimes people bow out at the best time, and
True.
before, and if they don't, it's possible that they can end up doing something like to damage their legacy. And I wouldn't want that to happen to her. So if she's not like 100% like confident or like behind whatever she's going to release, then I'm like, she should just not release it, and she should like start over fresh if she even wants to keep doing music. And if she doesn't, then she could just focus on being a rich mother. That's, it's all whatever she wants to do.
Right.
But
I think that unfortunately there's so much pressure on Rihanna right now for her music. And it's very unfortunate because Rihanna is a very successful entrepreneur and billionaire. I think she's a billionaire now, right?
With the
Yeah.
Fenty, yeah.
Yeah, like she's a very successful entrepreneur and billionaire, like, and yet despite all of those accomplishments, she's still expected to put out an album. And I don't think that that's necessarily fair to Rihanna. As a fan of her music, I'm like, yes, I want a new album. But then at the same time, like, there's really a lot of pressure on Rihanna to release a new album.
yeah,
Like a lot more.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time. Like I understand the gap behind it, but at the same time, it's just like, she doesn't need to make a new album at all. Actually, she doesn't even need to release a single.
yeah, that's what I've been
She's
saying.
fine. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it if I wasn't 100% behind it if I were her. That's all I'm saying is like, I would just be like, no, I'm not going to just release music just to release it because
I feel like it has to
she
be a passion.
doesn't.
Right.
Exactly. And I think she's
Like-
also at a place too where she can definitely like afford to do that. There are people who can't even like take the long breaks that she has taken. So it's like
Yeah, that's true.
she can afford to put in that like passion and to focus on what she really wants to do and not be like only focused on numbers and things like that, which is good because it gives her a chance to like take a risk that could be worth.
I think Rihanna created her own lane, and I don't think that a lot of artists have done that. And I don't even mean in the sense of like sonically or musically. I just mean in like what she did with her music career.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of people, Rihanna and what she's doing now in her businesses is the blueprint for what many other artists are doing. At least they're aspiring to get to the caliber of success that she has right now with her various businesses, or like Savage Fenty, makeup, etc.
Yeah, a lot of artists are taking into that and are creating like their own way. But I feel like they're not gonna be as successful as how Rihanna did. Because right now Rihanna, she's like set with Savage Fenty and stuff like that, along with her music. She's come a long way.
That's what I'm saying. Like she doesn't need this at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, if you're gonna make new music, like please do not make new music because the fans are pushing you to make new music. Like I want you to make new music because you feel drive and passion behind it, because that's gonna reflect in your artistry. If you're making music to appease people, that's gonna reflect in your album. And I don't know, I want something more passion driven from Rihanna. Not to say that her other works haven't been, but I want it to be just as impactful in that sense. Like I don't want it to be, I released an album so I could basically keep y'all quiet for an indefinite amount of time.
Right. And
not that I think that she would do that, but
especially now, because how many of today's artists kind of like rush an album just to push something out, just to please, and it's not that great, and it impacts their
ruins their, not ruins, probably a harsh word, but it does have like a negative impact on their legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, what was the expression that you said, friend? I'm sorry.
It was die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And I really think that it's an unfortunate reality, a little bit of a hot take, but I think that a lot of artists nowadays that are releasing all of these albums back to back to back to back to back are quite literally digging their own grave.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, let's say I'm not even going to put an artist name for example, but let's say that I'm an artist, right? And I have been 3 years into the game, but in those 3 years, I've released 5 albums. So then when I'm 10 years into my career, what am I going to be on? Album 16? Like, it's just like, and then if you take the creative risk to slow your career down after you have 3 albums out or 4 or 5 albums out, like, you run the risk of people getting bored. And it's like an equal trade-off almost. Like, the people who are overproducing albums are ultimately going to lose that traction, and when they want to be heard the most with the transformative piece, people are gonna be over it. Unfortunately, like, a lot of people have short attention spans. I'm one of them, you know. So it trickles into the music industry, definitely.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder too, though, if people who are releasing albums like back to back to back like that, if they're doing it more like for like if it's like a money thing or like a fame thing or just like an achievement thing. Because I wonder sometimes if people just want to like be the very best and they're not really worried about. And they like, I guess, if I'm saying that, then they kind of want the combination of being like
Well,
super rich and super famous. But some people just want like really just want like achievements. Like their reputation is more important to them than really anything else for some people. So it makes me
let's
wonder if that's the reason why some of these people are like rushing into, or make not even like, there are people who make an album every year, like to the
yeah, I was
point
just
where
about to say that. Like, it's
to the
literally
point
like,
I'm like, what?
let's be strategic here. I mean, like, strategic in the sense of like a business. If I get a Grammy and that is a very notable accolade, and I don't win one year, or I win one year and I get massive fame or a massive blow up as a result of it, I'm just gonna make it an effort to submit something to the Grammys every year, whether
Yeah.
it be an album, a really big single. Unfortunately, people are putting out albums to be in that running, you know, like, and that's why I think that it goes hand in hand with what you're saying, like the reputation, along with the desirability to be constantly recognized at award shows, at those like
Mm.
premium like events, for lack of a better phrase.
Mhm.
Like,
Like high
both of those,
profile red carpet events.
right, exactly, like both of those desires are going to lead, and I don't even know if it's necessarily the artist, because we have to acknowledge that the music industry is far more than just what we see as a
It's a
consumer.
business, so then
Like,
yeah.
there's, right, so it's just like, I'm not even going to say that it's like the hypothetical, like, I'm the one who's like going to my producers and saying I'm going to release an album this year. I think it's quite the opposite. Like, the record label's turning around and saying, you need to have this album. I don't care what you do to get to this point, to this album, but we need this album turned in by November. You know,
Okay.
and it all stems from that like need to have that like high profile red carpet events. This is me basically conspiracy theorizing, but I think that there's validity to it. I think that there's truth to it if we look at what's in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, I've always said that like pop, like music is very manufactured. So
oh yeah, oh
that's
yeah.
probably one of the only reasons why so many people have like so much respect for like hip hop, because at least at the beginning hip hop was very much, I mean, I hate to even like say it, I feel like a lot of rap like isn't really considered hip hop nowadays, and I lean it more towards like a pop rap. But original hip hop was definitely one of those things where it was very like, it was authentic. It was the artist and they had a beat and it was just them and their beat and they would just go in.
Right.
And with pop music or with more or other music, even R&B, like it's very manufactured. There's like so many, there's like 20 people writing one song, but then the writing credit only goes to like 2 people to try to make it seem
I
like,
don't.
you know, things like
Yeah.
that. So it's very
I don't think R and
manufactured.
B was always like that, though. Do you feel like it was?
I think so.
Like,
Even
there was. I mean,
even
maybe
back
I'll
then.
look around, but yeah, like I was gonna say, like, even like in like '90s R&B, or even earlier than that.
Because I feel like 90s and 2000s.
Yes, for sure. You guys have to realize, like 90s and 2000s,
That was the biggest
that,
R&B era.
but
One of the
that's
biggest.
like that. But R&B at that point was like owned by like the biggest like companies. Like they were like
Yeah.
they were pushing their artists like crazy. So when you have any time that there's like any industry that's like worth as much money as music, it's gonna be extremely like political at the end of the day. Like that's how it is. Once the money gets to that extent where it's like $1 billion industry, it's gonna become very political, and there's always gonna
Right.
be people who are manufacturing things and twisting things and changing numbers and doing all these behind the scenes things to make their artist seem better. Um,
Get the number
that's
one.
one of those things. You, I
Number
mean,
one
you
in the
hear,
Billboard.
you hear so many artists complaining about that stuff, saying like, oh, like, this place they changed the numbers or that changed
Yeah.
numbers. They're always saying stuff like that, and it's because it's true, because it is
and
happening.
and even like Billboard like itself is
Yeah.
very strategic. Like
Yeah.
you'll see artists who will like strategically release an extended bundle version of an album a day before another album is supposed to like expected to chart #1 on the Billboard. I do think that in order to remedy this, like remedy that, I don't think that people should have like Billboard should have more security in how they're portraying their numbers. Like they need to have like somebody verifying that their numbers that they're reporting are accurate. I don't know if that's a third party or what, and they need to stop releasing or giving any type of trend data to people beforehand. Because if they stop that and think, I don't know, like I could be coming from a very uninformed perspective, but like I feel like if that part stops, then the rest will kind of slowly wither away. Not fully, because people are always going to be like pushing and pushing, and like there's always this concept of like manufactured streams of like stream bots and like people just sitting there like constantly streaming the same song to try to get the streaming number up. But
I can imagine 6 phones,
Girl,
and they're like,
no,
stream,
hold
stream.
they're streaming
Because-
parties.
Hold on, because you guys remember how? Okay, so I actually joined one randomly because
Oh.
so
She went undercover.
Cow Hero knows that I am a fan of the K-pop group Card. And remember when they released Way with Words, how I was like, stream card, like, I was
Stream.
saying it kind of like almost joking. Like, I did want people to stream it, but I wasn't like really like trying to push people to like do streaming parties, because that's not like something that I really like I personally would want to do. But I did consider it at some point but I joined it, and when I tell you that there were people who were taking off work for 2-3 days so that they could stream nonstop.
Oh my god.
Like,
It's
it's
crazy.
scary. It's scary. And I was
Oh.
just like, yeah. I lasted probably 45 minutes before I was like, that's enough.
At
Because
that
the thing
point,
is, if I listen to music too much, I'll start to dislike it. Like oversaturation, like I'll start to dislike it. Like, okay, it starts to annoy me because I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this beat. You
And
know what I
this
mean? Like,
is-
no matter how much I love the song.
This is the crazy part, y'all. All for somebody that they don't even know.
Literally.
yeah.
Like it'd be one thing if I'm like, okay, y'all, I'm gonna have a streaming party. Like I'm a local artist. Like I'm trying to get big. Like I'm trying to get some streams up, and I'm gonna host a local party to get our streams up. Like let's really try to get this up. But an artist who is like literally on a massive like AAA celebrity scale, I promise you they don't know who you are. I can almost promise you that. There's a very, 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 and I mean very select few fans that a person, an artist will probably know.
I
well.
feel like,
But I would say out of 1 million fans, that's probably like 50.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that brings up a separation of like from fans to stans. You know what I'm saying? I see those
Very
two as
true.
two different groups,
Yeah.
right? Because you're a fan of something, you'll like listen to their music and enjoy it, like all that. Like you do to that
Mhm.
much of an extent. But a stan is like, you skip work for like a whole week, like you said. It's just continuously stream, aggressively pushing people to be like, listen to this or da 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 da, like whatever. Yes.
They be stalking, and it's crazy.
And getting into whole
It's-
fights.
Yes.
Right.
Twitter's the worst. I'm always looking at these like stan Twitters, and I'm just like, y'all too much. But love y'all,
Yeah.
but y'all too much.
Yeah. No, it really is crazy. But that's just because it becomes like parasocial. And like that's like
Yes.
what we were looking at with that K-pop artist from, what was the group? It was from ATEEZ, but do you remember his name, Cow Hero?
What? Oh my god, hold on, let me look it up. It's probably recent. It's recent, right? ATZ? Is that the group?
ATEEZ.
Oh, ATZ.
Yeah, ATEEZ. ATEEZ.
I've heard of that group.
Yeah. They're
Uh,
popular. They were on tour near me just now. I didn't go.
I'm screaming.
Wait, ATZ. What's his name? No, I don't
Member
remember.
family member passing? Is that how you look
Family
it up? I feel
pass.
bad saying that. I feel bad saying that.
Not the 9 siblings.
9 siblings.
ATZ member, Songhwa? Oh, the grandfather? Is it the grandfather?
Okay, that
Okay.
could be it.
Okay.
Okay. So we saw that video where the fan, and she wasn't aggressive with it, but she did say to him that she was like, how did she? What did she? She said, "You'll be okay," or "You're okay. It's fine," or something like that. And I'm like, I understand that she, in her own way, she was trying to like be comforting because he was working after this news broke
Mhm.
about his family, and he couldn't be there with them in that moment. There's a
Oh
chance that
yes.
he had a break and he was able to fly home to be like at the funeral and everything, but he couldn't be there at the moment, and he had to continue to work. And that's what a lot of people do. Everybody does that when they're celebrities. Um, so I kind of understand why she wanted to say something comforting, but it also was like, is she overstepping because she does not know him? She is just a fan. And I hate to even say just a fan because it sounds almost rude, almost like fans don't matter, but it is like not real. It's parasocial. Like, it's not real. That's not like that's not her friend. She can't say that to him. Or can
Right,
she? What do you
right.
guys think?
Well, like, wait. So how she said it like it's okay. Like she said it as it's okay. You'll be fine, right? As like a friend would say.
Right. Well,
Okay.
not even. I don't know.
Not
Wasn't it kind
even.
of? Is that even
I,
something that a friend would say? It seemed very
Not
like
a.
pushy. Like she
I,
was just like,
okay.
"You'll be fine. It's
right.
okay."
Right. That's the biggest problem for me. Like, you'll be fine. It's just like, who are you to tell me that I'll be fine? You don't even
Right.
know the full scope of everything that's going on in my life.
Exactly.
And you,
Right.
somebody who is a complete stranger, who I don't know if you've even gone through the things that I went through because you're a complete stranger, again, are saying that I'm going to be okay. Like,
Right.
please kindly step off. Like,
And then
get
I
away
felt
from me.
bad because he was just like, "Oh, I'm fine. Don't worry about it." But the fact that he felt like he needed to reassure her that he was fine when he's the one who should be, like I don't know. It was
Yes.
just one of those
And
things where it just
despite,
made it extra sad.
I'm sure that this same celebrity said on socials that they're fine.
Right.
Like, I'm
Mhm.
sure at some point, at some stream, at some, like, for somebody to be as big of a fan as that, to approach somebody openly like that, like, I'm sure from some way, shape, or form you saw verbally, written, during a performance maybe,
Yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
fine. Like,
I saw a
Yeah.
performance where he was crying while singing, and it could have
Aw.
just been like in a passionate moment, like
Right.
of him, because he was like, it's one of those things where like the guy like falls on his knees while singing, and then he's like very emotional. It was like one of those. I didn't watch the full video. I skipped it, but I saw a little bit of it, and I read it. I was like, that's him. I can tell. Um, so that could have been in response to that, but it also could have just been like a passionate moment on stage. I mean, it could have been either way, but
Yeah.
um, it's just a very unfortunate situation. Um,
Oh
yeah,
my
I just thought
god.
that was really crazy.
But that leads to another a big thing. Okay, so parasocial relationships. I like what are you like? Do you guys feel like parasocial? Like, do you guys feel like a parasocial relationship with like any like I don't want to say just celebrities, but I guess like any like creators or such? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you feel like you'll I don't want to say merch because merch is just simple. You know what I'm saying? Like you like
Yeah.
the creator celebrity, so you buy their merch, I guess. But like more so to the fact where like, um, for example, they tell you to do this, like donate to this, whatever. Like would y'all like jump to that? You know what I'm saying? Like you guys would just
I
jump.
think it depends.
I think it depends on the details. Well,
Because, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you're right. So I was gonna say like a great example for me would be like, so I saw somebody talking about Beyonce's hair care line.
Mhm.
Secret. I saw somebody talking about it, how they were like, it was like a person admitting, like, I was honestly against it at first because I was low key being a hater, but this shampoo is actually like godly. Like, that's what they said. Like, the shampoo was really good, and when they actually gave it a chance, they were surprised at how good the quality was of it, and they only didn't buy it at first because it was a celebrity brand. And so I thought about the opposite. I'm like, so opposite then, are there people who are buying products that they don't even like need or that aren't really that good just because the celebrity endorsed it or it's a celebrity brand? Because I do see often people saying that they don't like the quality of some celebrity brands and
Mhm.
things like that, and even influencers. And like, to be fair, a lot of people will slap their name on things and not actually like be in like a part of the creative process, like, at all. Like, they'll just slap their name on it, and
Oh, I hate that.
companies will do that because they're like, well,
Mhm.
we just need somebody to help us push this product and get it out there. And but then it messes up both the company's reputation and the person's reputation when it happens. And we've seen this happen before.
Yeah.
Very
Um,
often.
very
especially
often.
in the YouTube space, I would say.
Definitely.
Oh,
The
definitely in that
space
space.
that is, I
Definitely.
don't know about the music
Definitely.
space as much, but it is
But
very common in the music space.
Definitely in that
very
market.
much.
Oh my god. Because it's also just like, a lot of like creators, like a lot of YouTube creators are young. So it's just these young YouTube creators are just like taking these deals and stuff and just slapping their name on it and let things go roll downhill.
Well, I think everybody's in the market to make a quick buck. You know what I mean? Like, very often, unfortunately, people become, well, not unfortunately, but very often people become famous or search like fame for money. Like, not for the connection with people, not for the community sense of it. They want to make a quick buck.
Mm.
And that is like a prime example of that. Like, you'll find, like, I've seen a fair share of even just like YouTubers, for example, be like, like I'm only going to do a sponsorship, or I'm only going to do an ad if I myself would use it myself, and like this is me using the product that I'm sponsoring. But a lot of people don't do that because they're just like, oh, you're offering me a pretty check to just say a couple words on a video. I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's exactly like something I think about. I think about that quite often, actually. I just don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, on one hand, it's like, I don't know. I think sometimes too, like what you were saying, Orchid is were you the one who said it, or was it Cow Hero? One of y'all said something about age, and I think that's a big thing. Is like when you're young and you maybe don't come from a lot of money, or you've never been like crazy rich and spent money on your own, because whether you eat, like if you come from a lot of money, like if your parents are okay and like you grew up fine and you never had any struggles, you still don't understand money often.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you aren't able to be smart with it, and when you like first like make like a large amount of money, you just want to ball out, and then you want to keep going and going and going.
Very true.
It's one of those things where once you give them everything, they only want more, because it's always going to be something more that you want. You're going to keep going and going for to get that. And then the opposite as well would still happen if you didn't have a lot growing up, or if you did struggle. You're afraid of ever struggling again, and that can sometimes cause you to be like, I want all the things I never had to I never got to have before. And then you also are afraid of being poor again, so you work, and that's that whole like toxic like hustle mentality where everybody's like hustle, hustle, hustle. And it's like,
Yeah.
but when do you like, it's supposed to be work hard, play hard. When do you really play hard? And that's why I think that a lot of people end up playing in the wrong field, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they don't like. That's just, I think that's
Or
just what they
I
turn
would
to
even
to deal with
say
the stress.
they play, or I'm sorry, they work hard for a large amount of time, and then finally they find a glimmer of hope to have fun, and they go crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's like all concentrated into the course of like one night, and then you make reckless decisions.
Yeah.
And that's why, honestly, like, I don't know the statistics on it, fact check me, but that's why, like, you'll see midlife crises and stuff like that, because you're working so hard. And then I feel like once you get, I mean, midlife crisis is very subjective for people, but generally speaking, like once you reach that midlife type of age, your life has settled down a little bit, and now you have like the liberty to take a step back and be like, I'm gonna play. But then you do some crazy stuff, and then you're in a rut, and that's why you see that happen so many times. I think age definitely does have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think so too. Um, that's one of those things where even for myself, I think about like how I wanted to be like, I wanted to be famous when I was like really young, like ever since I was like a little
Oh
kid.
my god, me too.
And right, but when I think about it though, when I really think about it, I really think that the reason that I never pursued it, or I was never able to like fully focus on pursuing it, and like even my parents like not wanting me to like get involved in certain things, I really think that it was like, in a way, it was like some type of divine like intervention, like stopping me from doing something. Because if I had become famous at a young age, like I said to you before, Orchid, like I was like, if I were rich when I was like 18, I would have probably gotten so much plastic surgery, because any little thing that anybody told me, I had such like low self-esteem that anything anybody told me, I would have changed. Like I would have been like, oh, I need to fix that, like constantly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I have the money.
Right.
But it's one of those things where you learn to like love yourself and you learn to accept certain things about yourself. Like I look like my ancestors, like my face, my body, this is my heritage. So I don't need to change it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not against any type of surgery. I'm just saying that like that's how I was able to like get over that for myself. And so it's one of those things where I'm just like, I'm so glad I wasn't rich and famous at like 18 because I would have done so many stupid things and I would have definitely ruined my legacy. And legacy is so important to me. Like that's like
Oh yeah.
something that I've learned over the years by this point that I'm like, that is really important. And I'm really proud of how I've carried myself because no matter what, like mistakes I may have made, it was never anything that's like so damaging to my legacy that like my kids will like be embarrassed or disappointed in me.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm. It's a
Yeah,
lot of
definitely.
self-care. You definitely self-care and self-love gotta come
yeah.
first, 100%. And being, on top of that, being famous, because everyone's watching you, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like you're going to get criticized for every little thing, and being famous at such a young age can have such an impact on
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And I was just about to say too, like people who, I mean, me personally, I wasn't thinking super heavily about my future and my legacy at 16, 17, 18, 15, 14, a young age. I was not thinking about that. And then these are the ages that people are becoming very famous and unfortunately exploited in the younger market of celebrities.
Yeah.
Like younger celebrities get exploited very often, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But then it's like you're not thinking about legacy all the while you're being exploited. It's like it's a recipe for disaster.
And it's sad because a lot of these like young celebrities are like they're like basically like children. Some are literally children. They're it's because of their parents. Like I don't know about y'all, but my parents would have been like I would have been on a leash if they allowed me to even get in the industry. I would have been on a leash. Like they would have been in every room, every meeting, every recording session, every film, every
Absolutely, me
shooting,
too.
every casting audition, like everything. They would have been everywhere. Like
Yeah.
my mom especially would have been everywhere. My dad would have tried to, of course, but my mom would have made sure she could. Like she would have taken off work if she needed to, like to go places with me. Like she would have never left me alone, because she doesn't trust people in the industry and she doesn't really trust people at all. Like my mom is so funny. She actually told me one time she was like, "Don't have kids because it sucks because you love them too much." Like that's what she told me. She was like, "It sucks. You love them too much. Like it really sucks."
So
But I understand what she means though when you have that like it's almost like an obsession because you like you feel like you have to protect your children.
yeah.
And that's what my parents are.
No,
So
yeah, 100%. That always has to come first whenever you get into like an industry like such as I feel like acting is something you were passionate about, right? Or is it just being famous in general for you, King?
oh, for me it was music. It was more music
More
and
music?
acting. Like I would be
Okay.
it was more music than acting, but I would like both. That's what I want to do. Is
Okay. No,
But,
yeah. Like 100% that parents are
Yeah.
going to be very protective of it. Make sure that you're not overworked and such from the industry, especially.
But that's what makes me sad too. Is when I think about that, I'm like, I'm so blessed to have parents like that because I can honestly say with confidence that like my parents would die for me to live, and I know people personally who I've spoken like who I just know people who 100% can tell me that they don't think that the same. They don't think that their parents would die for them, and I'm just like, that's really crazy. Like my parents would absolutely die for me to live. They would
It's
absolutely sacrifice
yeah.
themselves for me.
That's I mean that it's not. How would I say this? It's like it's different, and it's sad. To me, I
It
feel like that's sad
is.
because it's just like not all parents think the same, right?
Yeah.
And there's many reasons for that, many reasons for that. Um, and it's just like getting into that into the Hollywood industry and stuff. It's just like it's scary, especially now when everything's being so released with like the whole like what is it, HBO Max, whatever they call themselves, Max, HBO Max, like that series coming out, exposing all that shit. Now it's just it's scary. Miley Cyrus, y'all remember when Miley Cyrus was talking about her Hannah Montana schedule, back
Yeah,
to
no, that
back
was
to
really
back,
crazy. That
like
was crazy. I remember
gosh,
seeing.
It's more
Yeah,
than a regular 9 to 5 person.
it
Yes,
is.
Very
it
And
long.
is.
that's one of those things too where like that's one of those things too where it's like that causes so many issues. But what I was gonna say too was that I think to kind of play the other side, I do kind of think that because of how things are now with like the media and like how you have access to so many things, like you were able to like celebrities can go live and just talk to you about their whole childhood, you know,
Yeah.
and they weren't able to do that when like some of this like Miley Cyrus for example was growing up. Like social media wasn't that, it wasn't like that yet, so it feels like I think for her and like for other people around her age like Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, like the rest of them, Ariana Grande, I feel like their parents didn't know just how bad it could be. And I think that they kind of had to experience it firsthand in order for them to like see that and be like, oh, this is bad. Like they're like mistreating my child. What do I do? And it's hard to get out of contracts and there's legal stuff involved. And so I don't want to like completely just be like, oh, the parents just don't love their kids enough. I think sometimes
Right.
that's what people go to, and I think that's unfair because they didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
unfortunately,
Right.
the way that it works is things have to happen for us to learn to do better. Like, look at 9/11. You know what I mean? Things
Hmm.
unfortunately happen before we're like, okay, now we need to up the security.
Right.
And that's probably what's going to happen to concerts as well, you know?
Oh my god.
But it's one of those things where things, unfortunately, bad things have to happen. People have to be harmed in order for us to learn that that's bad. You know, you have to like burn yourself to know that fire is hot, you know? And, I mean, you don't have to, but somebody did. Um,
Right.
and so it's one of those things where like sometimes you do have to like see something bad happen to be like, oh, that's a bad thing.
Right.
Um, Even though you should already be assuming that like bad things can happen. And you should already be protective. But I still understand like from the other side that it's like if people are coming to you and telling you to trust them, then I don't blame you for wanting to trust them. You have or
I
can
have
you have to
AFK, y'all. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Should we complete? Okay, here. Let me. How do I stop?
What we can uh I have another thing. One more thing. With this thing. Well, more so like when you were talking about like famous. I was
Yeah.
like, I loved. Okay, I was like, you know, like I was telling you about this before we started, and I was just like, oh my god, like I was a weeb. I was like nerding out and whatever. So like YouTube became such a big space for me and be able to express that, especially early YouTube with the whole AMVs and stuff.
Yes, I love
Um,
those.
so I would be posting like little clips of me. Like this is from like an old YouTube channel I had,
Show
and
me right now.
I
Link it
had.
right now.
I will link it to you after. I don't want to show it here, but it's just a lot of like just random like vlogs. Cause I try to like do vlogging because vlogging was such a big thing, a big era of that time. So I was doing that. I was also putting like like it was a bad tutorial of me trying to like, oh, how do you play this game, shit like that, like small things like that, just to like get out there. And League, wait, this is when I got into League 2. Oh my god, I'm exposing my age. When I got into League, and I've been trying to like, you know, record gameplay of it and like that and posting it. I wanted to be such a big like YouTube creator, but like I was working with what I had, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have the best. I was just working with like equipment. Like my laptop was literally like a brick. It survived, but it's a brick. Um, freaking camera. Like I was using like an old ass camera. Like I was doing it all. I was trying to make this.
I'm so glad that I was not young enough to just jump into it like that. I was not as like obviously I'm not much older than like a year or two. But either way, I was not like at the age where I was like, I want to jump into doing this. Like I was like at an age when YouTube like really started booming and I like most people realized that they could also be YouTubers. Like at the
Mm,
age where I realized that I could do that, I was like old enough to be like, no, I don't want to do that because what if it's embarrassing? Like I was able to have that like that idea. You know, like you learn consequences more as you get older. You start to understand them better. I was at the
yeah.
age where I was understanding enough that that would be embarrassing and that I would probably hate for people to see that one
Like
day.
I
And
would
so
too.
that stopped me. No, no, no. You were at the age where you were like, this will be fun.
I was too, and when I look back at it, I'm like, oh my god, like I was such a carefree. Like in my mind, I was like, I was carefree. Like I was just doing it just to do it. But I look back at it. Whenever I look back at it, I'm like, I enjoyed it. Like I wanted to continue doing this, and I feel like much of my personality then was is just really kind of shows like today in a way. But now it's just like more like okay, so like what am I gonna post? More so like consciously like what am I gonna do, what is this I'm gonna put out or whatever. And I feel like I blame how like I didn't really fully skyrocket just because like laziness kind of took over. I kind of just stopped and post very infrequently.
Did you like? Were you getting like views though?
Like small, very small.
Like how many? Like
But I kid you not. Like I think I started like, I started doing what was also big. It was covers. It was song covers, right? Like
yeah.
you just do covers of song, and I was doing like English covers of some anime openings. Oh my god, I know, cringe and weave. Like it's insane. By the way, those are privated because
I want to watch unprivate them right away.
those are privated because they were public at one point. People were commenting on it, but they were so bad. It was like me. It was literally me in early high school. This is early high school, and I was just
high
like,
school. I thought
yes.
this was like elementary school. Oh
No.
my god.
I started getting into it like middle school, but then like I started doing a little bit more in high school because I was doing it with a friend, and me and my closest friend. Oh my god, I love her. I love her. Love her. Love her. We were doing covers, and she's amazing. She's an amazing singer and whatever. She's like amazing. Like I would always like give her a thumbs up, follow her, be like, oh my god, girl, like this cover's so good. And then like I would do a cover, and we would support each other, even though my cover is like horrible. like my singing is literally not the best. It's not the best. I don't know how I tried. I don't know how I did it. It was no edits. It was just go record and go. It was just bad.
That's so funny. I want to see on private those videos right away.
So
me right away.
Bad. It's so bad. And I got comments like there's like a couple comments that were like, there were some that were like, oh, if you try like doing vocals like this to this point, you could probably match it. And the other ones are just like, this is pretty bad.
Oh my god, I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
It's so bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's horrible. As much as I love singing, I'm not a good singer, and
anybody can learn to sing though.
Yeah, but
it's a muscle. You really have to work that muscle, but you have to learn how to do it properly so you don't damage it. That's really what it comes down to.
Though. I feel like some are really gifted.
There are people who are like, there's tons of people who literally like, they have like perfect pitch, right? Where like they can just like, they'll hear music and they can like reputate it, and they can like I said, what the hell did I just say? Reputate it. Anyways, they can just repeat whatever they're listening to. What's the word I'm thinking of? Anyways, there are people who are like that, yes, but even then they still at some point take formal training so that they can, because that's a muscle. You have to learn how to work it. It's literally a muscle. You have to learn how to like work it out. You can't just like, you can't completely just like raw dog it. Pause, because at the end of the day, you're gonna end up damaging something because you need the knowledge to like really work it out. Like every person like every famous singer, I promise you, they took lessons at some point, unless they aren't a good singer. But you know what I mean? Like every like strong vocalist that you can think of in history has taken vocal lessons formally at some point.
I took choir in the middle school.
I did. I took it middle and high school, elementary, middle, high school.
I didn't take it in high school because I stopped in middle school. I was not the best. I don't know why.
Okay. It's okay because, like I said, anyone can learn. It's a muscle, and you could literally just Google on YouTube like 5-minute warm up techniques, really short, and just do it. Try them every single day. Don't give up. At the end of the day, it comes down to consistency. You just don't give up. You keep trying those every single day, and you'll notice an improvement. Just when you try, like you'll notice that, and then you try. What some people say is like to try like after like every warm up to just try like singing a song that you really like. and keep trying it every day, and then eventually you'll notice like a difference after your warm-ups, because your voice naturally will improve, like without you even like making sure that you're, because without the music theory and you like understanding like the notes that you're hitting and everything, um you know, that's not like, you still may not sing it the song exactly how you want, but you'll at least notice the difference in how you sing it no matter what, because your voice is just improving.
Mhm.
So
Oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, I literally, yeah, just thinking about that now, I'm just like, damn, like this. I looking back, I'm just like, wow, I really like tried. Well, not like I'm not trying, but yeah. Now I'm just like,
send me those videos right away.
I'll send you a teaser clip.
No. Send me the video right away. Send me the
They're
YouTube channel. I will go
they're
through
so
all
bad.
of them.
They're by like
I will go through all of them.
they're by 13, a 13-year-old movie, I think.
13? You said high school.
No, this recent one I have, this one, my one now,
Recent.
my Cal Hero one is from high school. From high school that I created. The other one I have was middle school me. Oh, I guess high school, because I'm looking at,
see all of them.
I'm looking at now and I see like a cover I did that just showed up.
I need the cover. Send me the cover right away.
Very early into my years. OMG.
Send me it right away.
I cannot. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the channel. It's very.
Send me right away.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hold on. I'll just send you the channel and then you'll go from there. But yeah, that's. Yeah. I was just like, oh my god. But when I have this channel now, my Cal Hero channel now, which of course, it's just gonna be just highlights and streams, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this goes.
Oh, is that Panther?
Yes. Oh yeah, the photo is recent, but this is so. I hate. Okay, this is when during the time where because I created this channel back when early YouTube, when early YouTube had like MySpace kind of era, like it was very like you could like change your themes and channels. To those that were in YouTube back in 07, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what it was. And then when Google came in, and you know how they added like Google Plus, whatever the thing they should have pushed out, they merged the accounts together. So they merged my Google and the YouTube channel together. Now they didn't want that. But they did it anyway.
They did do that.
So that's why I created, the channel that I have now, because to keep it separate. That's how you know it's old. I don't use that channel at all. That channel is not there anymore. That channel is untouched.
Wait, what is the name?
It's so old. It's 07 old. I'm gonna tell you, it's 2007 old. Early as YouTube old as
2008.
channel.
Yeah, joined March 25th, 2008.
Literally OG. If you're one of the OGs, like
I'm not that old. That's crazy.
wow.
Hey y'all, it's your girl King. That's a wrap on today's episode. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you do not miss any uploads. Follow us on all socials linked down below, as well as our Patreon. If you could sign up, it'd mean the world to us. And you'd get instant access to uncensored episodes, like within reason, because we do have to censor names of people, things like that, privacy, stuff like that. But we do often go in there to rant about things that we can't post on YouTube. You can also help us out by voting on topics and the different games we play, things of that nature. And we do also post weekly Q&As, to answer questions that we also cannot post on YouTube. If you've made it this far, thank you. You're a real one. Tune in next Thursday for episode 2, where we'll finally tie up Cow Hero and toss him into a lake. Love you, dollies. Bye.